Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we have got to talk about waivers. So week 2 is just about upon us. Week 1 finally ended, and we've got a lot of injuries unfortunately have occurred. Of course, we've got obviously some players that had stood out and some players that maybe did not stand out. So these are your waiver wires for week 2. Make sure you're looking at every top possible position, and I'll give you a little bit of some depth and of course availability for these players. Hopefully you guys have come out victorious for this week. And again, stay tuned. We'll be dropping our start and sits for week 2 as well to get you guys ready for the upcoming season. So the first thing I want to talk about are the quarterback position. As far as quarterbacks go, we've got Carson Wentz as a good pickup you should grab this week. He's available in about 88% of most leagues. He's also had a really phenomenal game the first week, being that this is his first real matchup with obviously the Commanders at the helm. Look, he had 4 touchdowns. His interceptions were a little bit of a concern. And I think that might change a little bit. He is actually a decent quarterback when it comes to fantasy. He does a really good job of being pretty consistent. And I do like the weapons he has. Now, of course, the Lions obviously aren't the best possible team, so that does help a little bit with his stats, but I actually like Carson Wentz a lot, and I think this is going to be a really good play to pick up, especially if you're someone who streams quarterbacks weekly. I like him a lot. Another quarterback that you should be picking up, whether it be Superflex or, of course, streaming, is going to be Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's available in about 54% of most leagues. He started off a little slow in that game, and it wasn't like the most, I would say, eye-catching game, but he did finish with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He's pretty, ever since he's been with the New Orleans Saints, if you watched any of his games, he's learned a lot behind Drew Brees, and he's done a really good job. And he's got weapons galore in this particular team. Obviously, there's some question marks with going on with Alvin Kamara, but with Olave, obviously you've got Jarvis Landry, you've got Michael Thomas back. There is a plethora of receivers that are going to help him obviously be successful this season. Now, as far as running backs go, there's a couple of running backs that I'm talking about, obviously due to possible injuries, and we'll go into that. But the first running back I actually have is going to be Dontrell Hilliard. Hilliard's obviously not replacing anybody at this moment. He is just a receiving back for the Tennessee Titans. He wasn't utilized as much as you would like. He is available in about 94% of most leagues, but he was used in the passing aspect of the game. Derrick Henry was still Derrick Henry, but Hilliard did have 2 receiving touchdowns, and he's a great handcuff to have. Obviously, if you're a Derrick Henry owner, or maybe you have an extra bench spot and you kind of like, hey, let me try this guy out, because he did have a really good week. But with this said, he does have a tough matchup against the Bills this week. I'm not saying you're starting him, but he is somebody you might want to grab at this point. Next guy I have is James Robinson. Well, James Robinson probably is unavailable in your league, but he's still available in about 42% of most leagues, which is kind of surprising, being the fact that I still believe he's the RB1. He was utilized as the RB1. He out-touched Etienne in this game. He was more successful on the running. Obviously, passing did tend to go to Etienne, but he definitely was the red zone guy. He was the first down guy. James Robinson is still the RB1 on this particular team. So the fact that he's available in 42% of most leagues is kind of shocking. Another running back I like a lot, is especially a good handcuff, but also kind of the Kareem Hunt style, is Jamaal Williams. Jamaal Williams is available in about 53% of most leagues. He had over 10 touches in this game. He also saw a lot more red zone action than DeAndre Swift did. He had 2 touchdowns in this game. He is still a very heavily utilized guy. Again, I think of him as Kareem Hunt 2.0, meaning he is going to get almost as many or close to as many touches as the RB1, which is Swift. So I like Jamaal Williams a lot. And again, if you are someone who has Swift, he's absolutely a handcuff you need in your backfield. Now, this is due to injury. I have Jeff Wilson as a good pickup. You could also go after Davis, but I think Jeff Wilson, he was actually the RB2 in this game. He was the one who kind of, dispelled, obviously, Eli Mitchell when he did go out. So Jeff Wilson's available in about 84% of most leagues. He did take over after Mitchell got hurt. Mitchell is expected to miss about 2 months worth this season, which is huge. So this is going to be a very interesting backfield to look after. It could be a committee. Absolutely. Kyle Shanahan does do that. But Kyle Shanahan, once he finds a running back that's got the hot hand, he kind of tends to run with him the rest of the season. So this is going to be a backfield you're going to keep an eye on. Jeff Wilson maybe in 3 weeks may not be the running back you want, but right now he's the running back you need to grab. So make sure you go after him. Another running back due to injury, possibly is going to be Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren is expected to be the RB2, obviously, for the Steelers. Najee Harris, at the end of that crazy game that they had, did get hurt. Right now, the results came back negative. He is expected to play next Monday, but something to keep an eye on. And again, as a handcuff, you should get Warren because there is a possible chance that he plays this week. So I do like him a lot. Now, wide receivers. I don't have as many. I've got 3 guys here that are some audible mentions that you should be grabbing. Devin Duvernay. Duvernay looked really good this week. Obviously, he was the wide receiver 2 for the Ravens. He's available in about 69% of most leagues. He saw 4 targets. Wasn't heavily targeted, but he did see 4 targets. He scored 2 touchdowns in that game, which obviously is going to blow him up. I can't always rely on touchdowns, but Duvernay in a team that is obviously looking to fulfill Marquise Brown, you know, he's going to get some targets his way, and I do like him this week. Another guy who I really do highly like, and he's available in 96% of most leagues, is going to be Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel is going to play that Debo role, essentially, kind of like you see out there. He was rushing the ball. He was heavily targeted in the passing game. It wasn't a lot of yards, but he was heavily targeted. He had 8 receptions, 55 yards. He had a touchdown. He was targeted heavily in the red zone. He ran the ball about 5 times in that game. So Curtis Samuel is another good player you should be picking up. He's going to be one of those guys you could probably put in the flex. And again, of course, bye weeks when we start heading to those in the next month or so. Another guy who is available is Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is available in about 58% of most leagues. He was targeted heavily by Jameis Winston, and will see that continue to grow. And I think, again, think of Godwin when obviously Winston had him in Tampa. He's going to be very similar to that role. He's going to be the guy who's going to be the short pass, the relied guy on the first downs. He's going to be that guy for Winston, and I like Jarvis Landry a lot. Now, as far as tight ends, it's a little bit tougher, but the one guy that I would not be targeting, but I know a lot of people will be just because of what he was able to do this week. OJ Howard. OJ Howard's available in 99% of most leagues, which obviously we understand. He was only targeted twice in this game, but he did have 2 touchdowns. So the fact is his stats look really, really good, but you cannot rely or chase touchdowns. Does not work. I know I said Duvernay, who had 2 touchdowns in his 4 targets, but that's a little bit different situation. OJ Howard in this offense could possibly see some growth, but I'm not expecting him to be what he just did this first week. So again, word of caution, but he is somebody you might want to go after. Gerald Everett's another guy I do like this week. I like this high octane for the Chargers. He's available in 73% of most leagues. He's a good option to fill for injuries or maybe a streaming tight end that you guys have out there. He was obviously targeted pretty heavily in the red zone as well. So I like Everett a lot. And again, you're not expecting a consistent 10 to 15 points every week, but he might have those boom or bust matchups depending on what's going on. Another guy I like a lot was HAYDEN HURST. He's available in 90% of most leagues. He was targeted 8 times in his first game with Cincinnati Bengals, which that values more than obviously a couple touchdowns in a game compared to, like, say, OJ Howard. OJ Howard obviously took advantage of in those particular situations, but HAYDEN HURST being targeted 8 times is a big deal. Obviously, Higgins was out, which may have played a factor in that. But if you saw anything like last year, Uzomah did a really good job for Cincinnati, obviously now with the Jets. And I think Burrow is going to really utilize and rely on Hurst in those first downs and maybe a couple touchdowns in there. So I like him a lot. So again, he's another tight end I'm going after. So those are my week 2 waiver wire pickups you should be going after. If there are other players you think I should have mentioned, hit me in the comments down below. Let others know as well. If you guys do have any questions or, of course, have any comments you guys want to add, hit us down there. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit the like button. It is greatly appreciated. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And that way you guys will get every video we guys are going to send you guys this way. Again, starts and sits will be dropping as well. That way you guys are prepared for this season. We'll also start talking trades because, again, there's a lot that happened this week, but I'm not going to overreact. You guys shouldn't either. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and we'll check you guys next time.